One of the most dangerous things is that an epidemic threatens a poor country. He does not have the proper medicines to treat this epidemic. The matter will worsen even more if this country is suffering from a war. Even if medicine is available, there is no way to deliver it to the patients, because in a war there is a ban, a curfew, a bombing in which people die. The problem worsens more and more if the epidemic is transmitted through drinking water, which means you inevitably have to drink. Something necessary for life, and this water is where the epidemic is. Something very heinous. This is what is happening in Sudan. Brother to Egypt, brother to all Arabs, brother to all Muslims. I really don't know why he doesn't enter Sudan. The focus of attention of Muslims, even in the focus of media attention on the Sudan issue, concerns about it are very superficial and very fast, very fleeting. There is no one who speaks deeply about the Sudanese issue, given its large population, its strategic importance, and its Muslim brothers, the language brothers, and the religion brothers, of course, above all, and brothers. Geography and history brothers mean something, a country of utmost importance. War is dying in Sudan, floods are dying in Sudan, hunger is dying in Sudan, and also epidemics. Now there is an invasion of the cholera epidemic, and not only cholera, in many other epidemics, malaria, dengue fever and other things, but cholera has begun to spread in Sudan in a very horrific way. Cholera began in Sudan in August 2024. It began to increase with time recently. During the last week of last year, an abnormal outbreak occurred in Khartoum after the return of the population. After the army took control of Khartoum, a large number of residents returned in the presence of inappropriate conditions, health, drinking water, sanitation, etc. There are many problems. So many infections were recorded in 500 cases per day. Of cholera cases and non-remaining deaths resulting from this subject. The epidemic is now present in 7 states out of 18 Sudanese states. Of course, it is present in Khartoum, and it exists in addition to Khartoum in Sennar, Al Jazeera, and other Sudanese states. A very high death rate, the highest death rate in the world. If the ball happened, not anywhere in the world, the death rate is 7. 1,000, the death rate in Sudan reached 31, 1,000, and in the weeks since it reached 69. The 1,000. We are talking about in astronomical numbers for the world, because there is no cure for the issue, and therefore the issue is increasing workers, and there is no control over the story. The issue, of course, has worsened even more because drinking stations have disabled 60% of drinking stations in Sudan. Why did they stop? I stopped because the electricity that supplied it was cut off. The electricity was cut off for you because you were bombed by the L rockets and marches. So there are no drinking stations, so people drink from anywhere without any kind of purification. That's why the epidemic is spreading here and there. Cholera is a disease that means it has become simple. Cholera means it comes from who? Bacteria. Bacteria infect people through you with contaminated drinking water. This means that they usually come to poor areas that do not have the ability to purify the water well. They drink from rivers, they drink from wells without purification. Therefore, it is possible that this topic originally existed in India. Throughout its life, it did not go outside India. Until the 19th century, it came out of India to the world, and global disasters occurred. 7 major global pandemics, the last of which was in the year 1961, and after that, pandemics began to decrease very much because their treatment is easy. The disease is treated with normal natural antibiotics, not MME complex antibiotics, but this normal antibiotic did not reach the people of Sudan. The crisis in Sudan is worsening more and more because the issue is very complex, firstly, and the rest of the ball is spreading quickly. Very, very fast, moving Brits or very high rates than any other epidemic. The infrastructure in Sudan is devastated by impurities or sewage, unconventional deterioration. Can cholera vaccination rates be obtained? I said very, very less than 50%. Before the war it was 85%. And therefore all people are vulnerable to cholera coming to them. In other epidemics with cholera, weakened immunity, and at the same time BTS is out of hospitals. If it works, it means a defect in the health system such as malaria, dengue fever, or other diseases. Measles is also spreading in Sudan, and this is also a possible disease that can lead to death if the health condition is not treated. Every person's physical condition is weak, because most people unfortunately come from hunger. We have 25,000 Sudanese are facing hunger, making them more susceptible to disease. Just like the disease of cholera, the whole disease is on the main body, diarrhea. He loses body fluids and loses all nutrition. If he was already weak, he could not tolerate anything. He could die within 3 days of the diarrhea. What this means is that if you do not receive treatment, you will also have a case of very difficult needs. Hospitals in Sudan, 70% of which have been suspended since the war began, 70% of which have also been treated with very little energy, they say on the subject. This last hose is the patients. Sleeping on the street outside, there are no places in the hospital to accommodate these numbers, so they treat the eyes in the street, local doctors and medicines in their hands in the street. Around hospitals is something that means you are talking, and we are not. We are talking about 2 or 3 centuries ago, and we are now in the 21st century with a very large number of Muslims in the earth, 2,000.